In brightest day, in blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. Reciting the Green Lantern core oath makes my heart flutter. This movie, not so much. Hi guys, it's Taye Del Val, your Grown Geek Girl, and I'm here to give you my thoughts on Green Lantern. I had not seen the movie ever before in life until a few days ago. Didn't really have much of a desire to see it when it was out in theaters, and when I asked my friends about it, they said my life was probably better for not seeing it. So after watching Deadpool and hearing the jokes that were in that movie about Green Lantern, I wanted to check it out, and I feel that I should, because I am the Grown Geek Girl. I will say this. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen. I've definitely seen worse. But there was, I could see where fans would be like, how dare they treat this character like this? How dare they put this movie out there and say this is for you guys, the fans? I'll start off with what I did like. I am a fan of Ryan Reynolds. I enjoy watching him as an actor. Like I said in my Deadpool review, he knows how to make you feel the feels. In this movie, not so much, actually, but you can only do so much. As an actor, you can only do so much. You're at the mercy of the material that you're given and the director. You're there to bring the director's vision to life. And if the director tells you, give me more or no, pull back, you have to do that. And I felt like he did the best that he could with the material he was given. So I don't think that any of the backlash that he got was warranted. I think it was mainly just the fact that he was attached to this movie and everybody wanted something to be mad at, and because he was the star, he was made the focal point of the negative attention. But as the character of Hal Jordan, I think he was the right choice. Ryan is very talented. He knows how to give you the wit and the sarcasm and the wise assery. Is that a word? It's my word. He knows how to be that kind of character. So I think he was the right choice at the time. So I don't think that the backlash should have been lobbied at him. The movie itself, I went into it with an open mind. Again, I'd heard all of the stuff that my friends who had seen it had said, and I read the critics' reviews and stuff on like Rotten Tomatoes and Wikipedia, things like that. It's a hard film to watch. It's not bad per se. Again, there are worse films with worse writing, but the movie suffers from bad pacing. The story structure absolutely sucks. They don't give you enough time to care about anybody, except for maybe Hal, and even then it's like, okay. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating to watch this movie because it jumps everywhere. One of the things that sticks out in my mind right now is you have when he is trying to activate the lantern to charge the ring for the very first time. Then he hits the lantern, gets knocked back to the couch, his eyes completely white out, and he recites the oath for the first time. And then Blake Lively's character, Carol, shows up, and then there's like 10 minutes between when she shows up at his house and before you hear anything about the ring again. They go to a bar and they start talking about their past, and I understand that they had to establish their love story. And I'll say this right now while I'm thinking about it. I like the fact that the love story didn't feel shoehorned in. Was it unnecessary? Kinda. Because again, they don't give you any time to really care about it. I think if I'm going to compare it to anything, I feel like it was a better written love story between those two characters than in Man of Steel, where it just felt like, oh, people know that Lois and Clark should be together, so let's just throw that in there right now because we forgot about it completely. But that wasn't the feel of this one. But the fact, again, it's like, can we? There was no consistency. There was no consistency in the flow of the story, and that really took away from the enjoyment for me. It felt like there were way too many stories. They tried to put all of these stories into one film, and you can't do that because you nothing. It doesn't go anywhere. It really doesn't go anywhere. Like I could have stood to see more training on Oa, than with instead of like 3 minutes of Michael Clark Duncan, may he rest in peace, his voice beating the crap out of Hal, and then he'd be like, you know what? No, I'm done. And then it's like, well, why did he quit? They don't give you any time to care about it. They don't give you any time to want to root for him, really. And then there's these weird side stories. Like, again, like I said, too many stories crammed into one movie, where you've got Hector over here. I made this joke when I was talking to my friends about this movie. It felt like there should have been a subtitle. It should have been Green Lantern, every character has daddy issues. That's what it felt like. You have Hal, when he was a little kid, watching his father die. And the reason that he keeps running away from stuff is because he doesn't want to admit that he's scared. Got it. And then you have Hector over here with his father that doesn't think he's good enough, and his father thinking that he has to do everything for him. And it's like, why isn't that better explored? I don't understand. All you get is really when Hector can hear other people's thoughts, he suddenly becomes telepathic because of the piece of parallax that's inside him. And he decides that he's going to release all of this pent-up anger against his father. And I'm like, I still don't understand why he hated his dad. Did I miss it? I mean, I get it. You heard him call him a loser a couple of times. That would make anybody slightly I just don't get it. And then I was like, did they all grow up together? Like, you have towards the climax where Hector is in a wheelchair and he's levitating Carol, and he was like, I've loved her from the first minute that I saw her, as Hector's talking to Hal. And I'm like, wait, we only got maybe a 30-second scene where they run into each other, and it's kind of hinted at that they knew each other when they were kids. There's no real indication that he had any feelings for her. And that all takes place right before he decides to try to kill his dad with a beer tap. I'm like, I have no connection here. And he's like, why could I never be you? I'm like, did they know each other in elementary school? Like, where is all of this coming from? And then there's my issue with Parallax, who I'm told, again, from people that know the character and the storyline and what's canon better than myself, they're like, they screwed him up too. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to do a little more research on that. But and it was obvious, as Hollywood tends to do these days, is they were setting this up for a franchise. If you were gonna do that, you really could have made more of the piece of Parallax that had infected Hector and made Hector the main villain, and just have kind of like the threat of Parallax out here, and then he could get closer to becoming the main threat of the second film. I mean, that's just me. Maybe I need to become a screenwriter, because I think that would have been a more compelling story, at least a little bit more interesting than, okay, Parallax is coming, and then you have this guy over here. Why is he so angry? I kind of get it, like I said, daddy issues and feeling inferior to everybody else around him, but he was kind of brilliant in his own right. So I don't understand all of the pent-up aggression that they tried to justify at the end. It felt like they were just like, oh, well, we need to figure out how we're going to wrap this up. Throw that out there. I don't have enough time to care. I don't have enough time to care about why he's so angry. No, not every villain needs to have a sympathetic angle, but you at least, unless it's like the Joker, you kind of need to understand why this person is acting this way. Or maybe I just don't like my villains to be one note and one dimensional. I don't know. But when you're trying to set up, it seemed to me like Hector was supposed to be a sympathetic villain, and I don't have enough time to care about him. And again, this might be a completely off topic, but it felt like Peter Skarsgård does not look like the son of Tim Robbins. Not even saying that they don't look related. They just look too close in age for Hector to be this guy's son. I was like, he's balding. How old is the senator supposed to be? I'm so confused. But I just, that's my main frustration is, again, the jumpy storylines. And how is Carol so accepting of Hal being the Green Lantern? Maybe I just need to read more Green Lantern comics because I don't understand how, okay, he saves her. And I did like the joke where she was like, did you think I wouldn't recognize you because I can't see your cheekbones? I'll give them that. I did think that was funny, but I just, why? Why is she just like, oh, this is so cool. What do you mean you quit? You just never follow through with anything. I'm like, where's this coming from? You guys aren't doing a good job of explaining anything. I'm probably not telling you guys anything you don't know about why this movie failed. I'm just giving you my reaction to it. But I didn't like the way that Hal decides to finally stand up and fight Parallax, where it's Carol touching his knee and she's like, no, your dad probably was scared. And the ring chose you because of this. I'm like, if you're really gonna bring in the daddy issue with Hal, why couldn't that be better resolved? Like, it just seemed like a cop out. It seemed like a very cheap cop out. Like, yeah, let's have the girl touch his leg, and finally he has the strength to go beat this intergalactic threat. That works. Is that good? That's good. High five, everybody. Let's do it. You know, I didn't like it, and I think that's about all I didn't like. I did like the choice to have him overcome his fear in the middle of the fight by reciting the Green Lantern Corps oath. I did like that. Again, the oath does warm fuzzy things to me, but obviously this movie could have been so much more, and I really wish that Ryan had a chance to. I wish he had better material. But in 2020, we're getting Green Lantern Corps, and I'm pretty sure that DC and Warner Brothers have learned their lesson. And I just read something on Facebook today where they were like, this character deserves to be treated with reverence as much as Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. So we shall see. It's 2016. We've got 4 years to wait and see if they get it right the next time. So like I said, not the worst movie I've ever seen. Is it a bad movie? It could be a lot better. It's very frustrating to watch. But in comparison to other movies, it might be in my rotation. If I'm having a slow day and just want a quick chuckle, I might put it back in. So if I was going to grade it at all, I don't have a grading scale yet, but if I had to, it'd be a 2 out of 4 stars. Just, it rides the middle line for me. If it wasn't such a frustrating movie to watch in terms of the jumping around story structure and the fact that it doesn't resolve, it poorly resolves things, it would probably get a higher rating. But we'll see if they fix it with Green Lantern Corps. So those are my thoughts on Green Lantern. Grown Geek Girl, out.